are recording now, and let's start by sharing the screen. All right. So do you see lecture 2 at your end? Solving first order ODs?
No, ma'am, we don't see it yet.
Oh, you don't see it here?
No,
Let's see what's the issue. Okay. So I did share the desktop. Let's see. Now.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible. It's visible.
Okay, excellent.
So now, ma'am, where you're screen sharing, you'll get like on the top, you know that there are options. You'll get more,
More, yes.
and there you'll get about annotating about something.
So if yeah. So I should disable that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Just a minute.
Oh.
Whether it's enabled or whether it's disabled by default. What is the option? Yeah.
No, ma'am, it's enabled now. I checked it.
Oh, it's enabled. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Where did it go? Sorry. Yeah. Let me sort of go back to it one more time. So here it is. Here it is. And share. It's already sharing, and it's more. So disable participants.
yes.
So I should do it every time with each.
No, just do it now. No. Yeah, every session you'll have to do it.
Every
but like
session. It's not that once you do and it's forever. No, it's not. Doesn't.
No, that's not.
Okay.
I mean, actually, every time you share screen, like if you close, shut off, and shut it on again, then you'll have to do it again.
Okay. All right.
The task.
Okay. All right. No, I would also like to trust you all that you are not going to sort of do these funny things with me. Yeah. So
I hope not. So
it's all in good faith. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's get started. Yeah.
Finally.
So the very first thing, any questions from last time? Questions, comments, suggestions? Okay. All right. So
ma'am, which book are we following?
So this is, written in the information booklet that was uploaded in Moodle. So we are broadly following Krasik's engineering mathematics. Broadly.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And there are some topics which are not available in that book. So in fact, if you look at the course information booklet, it also lists, the topics and the sections of Krasik. Right. So yes.
Yes.
I hope that answers your question. Okay. So we will continue our discussion on solving first order ODEs. Let's have a quick recap first. So let's look at this differential equation. E to power x dy by dx plus 3y equals x square y. So the claim here is that this differential equation is linear and separable. Yeah. Is this true or false? You can unmute yourself and answer. True or false?
True.
True. Everybody says true?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
ma'am. All right.
True.
Okay. Let's
Yes,
see.
ma'am, true.
Okay. Like another example, you have y dy by dx plus 3x equal to 0. Is this linear and separable? True?
No.
Not
Not
linear.
linear.
No,
It's
no.
not linear.
Not linear, but separable.
It is linear. It is not linear. It is non-linear, but separable. So this statement is not true. All right. Very nice. Let's look at one more. Dx by dt is x plus 2xt plus cosine t upstairs, and denominator we have 1 plus t square. This is linear and separable. True or
It's
false?
not separable. It's not separable.
It's not separable. And what about, is it linear?
It's not linear.
It is 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 linear.
But it's not separable, so the statement is false. All right. Very nice. Okay. So let's settle this terminology. What do we mean by initial value problem for first order ODE?
Do we have an initial value?
Yes. So a differential equation with an initial condition is said to be an initial value problem. So here, for example, I've written a first order differential equation. Dy by dx is given by some function f, and we are given the initial value that at x equal to x naught, y is y naught. So this is an initial value problem. All right. Okay.
Not one small doubt.
Yes.
So when do we call a differential equation as ordinary? Like, is it a technical term?
No. So there are two things here. So when do we call a differential equation ordinary? If there's a single independent variable, right? There's a single independent variable and possibly one or more dependent variables.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the difference between ordinary differential equation. So let's recall, a differential equation is an equation that contains one or more derivatives of an unknown function. Correct? Yeah, is that
Yeah.
okay? I'll repeat one more time. A differential equation is an equation that contains one or more derivatives of an unknown function. And a differential equation is said to be an ordinary differential equation if it involves an unknown function of only one variable.
Right.
Yeah, there's a single independent variable. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is very, very important. Okay, so we were discussing separable ODEs when we ended our time last time. Let's see an example. Yeah, so this example concerns the escape velocity. Yeah, so I believe all of you know escape velocity much more than I do. But let's recall, what is the escape velocity? Escape velocity is the speed at which sum of the projectile kinetic energy and I believe gravitational potential energy is zero, correct? So you have a projectile of mass m moving in a direction perpendicular to the surface of Earth, and suppose that the given initial velocity is v naught. We are interested in calculating the height that the projectile reaches. Okay, so how do we go about it? Let's see what I have. Yeah. So we are neglecting force due to air resistance and other celestial bodies, right? So we will look at the following. Yeah, we will look at the force exerted on the projectile by the gravitational field. Yeah, so let me write that down.
Ma'am, is there a chance that you can increase the microphone volume? I mean, it's fine, but like a little more if you can
Let's
increase.
see. Yes, I can. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Now it's perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
better. Okay. All right.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Great.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. So let's see. So let's look at the following scenario. Yeah. So the force exerted on the projectile by the gravitational field at an altitude x. Yeah, so the notation here is x above the surface of Earth. Is given by, so what would this be? So this would be, so this is known that this is inversely proportional to the square of distance from the center of Earth, correct? So this means that this force F is given by some constant, which I'm going to write by K, and yeah, so R plus X square. Yeah, and what is R here? R is the radius of Earth, correct? Now this is equal to m times g, the gravitational constant, right? So one can work out k here as, right? And why do I pick a negative sign here? Because we take the upward direction to be positive, right? And the object will, right? Yeah, so that is,
Yeah,
yeah.
gravitational force is attractive.
It's an attractive force.
Correct, right? And what else do we know? We know that at x equal to 0, yeah, F is given by minus mmg, correct? Yes. So that allows us to calculate what is this little k. So then this little k would be what? So this little k would be mg r square. Is that correct? Yes. Yeah, everybody with me, right? So this force is, so let's rewrite this equation. Let's plug in mg r square here. So this is minus of mgr square and r plus x square, right? And by Newton's second law of motion, this is mass times the acceleration, which is d square x by dt square, right? That's the equation of motion, right? Correct? Yeah, I hope everybody
Yes,
is with
ma'am.
me.
ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so let's just go back to what I have on this slide. I think, yeah. Right, so this is where we are, right? We get this equation of motion, right? Now we are interested in velocity, right? We are concerned with the velocity v rather than x, right? So what we will do is we will write it like this. We will replace dx by dt by the symbol v, right? And also recall that we are given as v naught as the initial velocity, which means that at x equal to 0, v is v naught, right? Okay, so let's write a d square x dt by dt square as dv by dt, and let's apply the chain rule, right? So that means that we can write down this equation of motion that we calculated on the previous slide as the following, correct? Is everybody with me up till this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what is the advantage of writing like this?
Yes, ma'am.
We get a separable ordinary differential equation, right? Yes, yes. And is this linear or is this non-linear?
Non-linear.
Non-linear.
This is non-linear, right? Because we have a v dv appearing here, right? This is non-linear. So how do we go about solving this? Let's separate the variables and let's integrate, right? So if we do that, we get the following, right? V square by 2 is g r square by r plus x, and we pick up some constant of integration. And what we know is that at x equal to 0, the initial velocity is v naught. So we plug that in, that allows us to calculate this constant c, right? And that allows us to calculate the velocity, right? Yeah, this is some calculation, right? Now, what else do we know? We know that that at the maximum height h, the velocity is 0, right? Right? Okay, so the velocity will be 0 at the maximum altitude, and the object will then fall to earth, right? So how do we go about calculating this? So we use the expression that we calculated on the previous slide. Just go back here, and that enables us to do this, write this equation, right? Which means that we can calculate this, and the escape velocity is found by taking the limit as we allow h to tend to infinity, which means that, and a little calculation shows us that this escape velocity turns out to be this, right? So anyways, the whole point of this example was to show you an example of a non-linear first order differential equation, which we are solving by separating variables. Yeah, is that okay? Everybody with me up till this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, is that okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
I had one doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ma'am, can you go to the previous slide?
Yes.
Ma'am, is there anything significant in writing the plus minus sign for the velocity formula that we just calculated?
See, there's a square here appearing, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Nothing more. Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing more. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can I ask a question?
Yeah. Go
Ma'am, why
ahead.
are we making such a fuss about linear? Is it linear or not?
See, linear ODEs are much easier to tackle. Non-linear, we don't know in general. Yes.
But in the end, we have to find the answer, no?
Right. See, there's no systematic way of approaching this problem of solving ODE, right? One way is that you start with, order. Yeah, you look at first order differential equations and try to sort of come up with a strategy to solve them. one way is to, you don't distinguish on the basis of order, you look at linear and non-linear and try to come up with a methodology to solve them. One way is that you look at first order linear equations and try to, but there is no uniform sort of tool which will say, hey, look at all linear ODEs and this method will give you the solution. And look at all non-linear ODEs and this will give you a method of solution, right?
Yes, sir.
So this method of separating variables works independent of whether the ODE is linear or non-linear. That's all. That's all I'm trying to highlight.
Yes,
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Sort of this course, we will sort of learn many, so to say, tricks and tools to solve ODEs. And, you have to make an intelligent guess when you look at an ordinary differential equation, that which method should you apply.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's see, what do I have next? All right. So here is another definition. So let's see, why do I bring in suddenly homogeneous functions? Yeah. So we say that a function defined on Rn, taking values in Rn, is said to be homogeneous if there is an integer d such that if we evaluate f at tx1, tx2, txn, where x1, x2, xn is an n tuple and t is any non-zero real number, the output should be t to power d, the value of the function f evaluated at the tuple x1, x2, xn, right? So let me, maybe this is best clarified using examples. And here is an example. Yeah. So let's look at a function defined like this. Xy is being sent to x square plus xy plus y square. Now, evidently, this is homogeneous in the sense defined above. And I say that this is homogeneous of degree 2. Yeah. What does 2 signify here? The number d is called as the degree of this function. Yes. Is this okay with everybody present here?
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
how are
Yes,
they
ma'am.
writing it from by the above definition?
So you plug in ftx, fty, right? Instead of fxy, that will be what? T square x square plus t square xy plus t square y square.
Yeah, got it.
Right? You just apply this definition. Yeah, evaluate it on the left hand side, and whatever you get as a power of t, that will be the degree of, if at all this function is homogeneous. In this example, it is indeed. Correct? Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see the next example. We are sending xy to y plus x cosine square y by x. Now, again, this is homogeneous. And now what is the degree?
1.
1, correct? Is that okay?
Yes.
Ma'am, how is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
f of xy is a function, right? So I
Correct,
mean,
correct.
we're not. How is it an ODE?
No, there's no OD, there's only a function. And in fact, this is, this is not Rn valued. I'll just sort of edit this. Yeah, this is R.
Yes, fair
There's
enough.
there's no OD as of now. The OD will
Correct,
come
correct.
little later. Yeah. So this is a type, this is a need to be corrected. I will. Yeah. So this function
Okay.
is f from Rn to R. Yeah. There's no OD as of now. The OD will come.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So having understood this, let's say, what do we mean by homogeneous ODs? Yeah. So I have a first order OD, mxy plus nxy dy by dx. Yeah. So m and n here are functions of both x and y. We say that this is homogeneous if m and n are both homogeneous, and we demand that they are homogeneous of the same degree. Yes. So here we have homogeneous ODs. Yeah. So if m and n are homogeneous functions in the sense defined upstairs, and they are both homogeneous of the same degree, then we say that this first order ODE is homogeneous, right? Now, what is an advantage? Let's see the following. Yeah. So let's look at a homogeneous ODE. Suppose m and n are both homogeneous of the same degree d, right? So let's introduce a new variable v. Let's write y equals to x times v, right? And let's use let's differentiate. So we will have dy by dx is x dv by dx plus v. Yeah, so if we plug this in this ODE, then what do we get? We get mx, y is replaced by xv, and nx, y is again replaced by xv, and dy by dx is replaced by x dv by dx plus v. Correct? Is that okay? Everybody with me up till this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what do we use? We use the fact that M and N are homogeneous of degree D, right? So that will tell us that the above equation is same as x to the power d m1v plus x to the power d n1v. So all I am using is I am using the fact that M and N are both homogeneous of the same degree. All right. So I hope so far so good with everybody present here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's see what is that we can do next. Okay. So I have the last line written again here. So far we have reached this point. Now let's further assume that x is not 0, which means that I can safely divide, right? So if I do that, what will I get? I will get the following, right? Now, what is the advantage of writing it in this manner? The advantage is that we get a separable ordinary differential equation of order 1. Is that correct? Yes? You know,
Yes,
this,
ma'am. Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
this coefficient of dv, this is a function of v alone, correct? Yes? Yes. Now, and we know how to solve this equation, right? So
Yep.
anytime we have a homogeneous ODE, we can use this method of substitution. You introduce a new variable and then you apply integration, just how you solve a separable ODE, correct? Yeah. Now this technology, this method that we have just discussed, in fact, can be applied to any ODE which takes the form dy by dx. On the left and the right, we have a function of y by x. Homogeneous ODEs are just examples of ODEs which take this format. Does everybody agree with me?
Yes, we can basically divide by the highest power of x and
Correct. So,
give
you
a
just
function of
introduce a new variable y by x equal to
Yes.
v, right?
t or yeah, whatever.
Yeah, a new variable, and that will allow us to write it as a separable ODE. Yeah. Right. And homogeneous ODEs are one example of, a set of ODEs which take this format. Yeah. Is this okay with everybody present here?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes. All right. So shall we see what's next? Yeah. Please ask if there is a sticky point. Okay. So shall I assume this is a yes with everybody?
Ma'am, was this equation, separable equation, homogeneous there?
This one, this d in terms of
Yes,
x and v,
yes,
this
yes.
may not be. This may not be.
Okay.
But we don't care. All we are interested in, in solving this ODE that we started off with. We don't know how to solve this ODE, right? We don't know how to solve this ODE for now, right? We don't know,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right. So here is one thing to go about solving this. Now we really are, we are happy that we get a ODE which is separable because we know how to solve this. And once we have a solution of this one, we can go back to the original one, right? Again, switching the variables,
Yes.
right? Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see an example. Yeah, we'll see an example in a moment, I think. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Before we, sort of see that example.
Hello, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes. Go ahead.
Ma'am, in the previous slide, why is it necessary that y dash should be of the form equal to f of y by x? What is the significance of that condition?
See, all I'm trying is anytime you look at an ODE, which is of the form dy by dx, and on the right, you have a function of y by x, you can write, y by x as v. You can introduce another variable and do exactly what we did here. Yes. you should be able to arrive at a separable equation.
Okay, ma'am. Understood.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
that's
yes.
all I'm trying to say, right? Yes, correct? Is that okay?
Yeah, ma'am. Fine.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, there we have divided by x. So, do we have to remove x equals 0 point from the solution curve?
we will see, in examples we will see what happens here, right? We will be careful over here.
Okay.
That's a good point, but we will see what happens, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So all of this is under the assumption that S does not take the value 0. You're right, absolutely right about it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So before we see some examples, there's something that I would like to clarify. Later in this course, we will use the term homogeneous in an altogether different context to define differential equations of the form dy equal to 0. What is d here? D is an operator, differential operator. Yeah. So what I want to say is, as opposed to dy equal to bx. So this is much like what you do in linear algebra, right? You look at a you look at a system of linear equations. You have a matrix and you say, ax equal to b, right? And you look at the corresponding associated homogeneous system, which is ax equal to 0. Does that make sense to everybody? I'll just maybe write that down if that helps. So all I'm trying to say is, just like in linear algebra, right? You have a matrix A and then a column vector B, right? Suppose you have to solve this, right? What you do is that you look at the associated homogeneous system AX equal to 0, correct? Do you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And this is called as a homogeneous system, correct? Homogeneous linear equations and things like that, right? Much like that, there's a similar analogy in differential equations also. So you will look at, instead of solving a dy by dx equal to, let's say this, yeah, or let me make it a little more complicated, right? Let's like d square y by dx square plus let's say 5 dy by dx equal to this, right? As opposed to, you will look at, it's just an example I'm writing to clarify things, right? So this, what I wrote below, this is referred to as a homogeneous differential equation, as opposed to the first one here, much like what you do for system of linear equations. So all I'm trying to emphasize here is that the term homogeneous is actually used in two contexts. One, which I just discussed, and two, which we are going to discuss much later in the course. Something to be kept in mind, nothing at all, nothing much more than this. Is that okay? Is that okay or just too confusing?
No, ma'am, it's fine.
It's fine
Yeah,
for
it's
everybody.
okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
all
ma'am.
right. Okay. So let's just go back to the slides. All right. Okay. So let's look at this ordinary differential equation. Yeah, let's try to solve an example. So I have y square minus x square dy by dx plus 2xy equal to 0, right? So this is the first order differential equation, right? And we notice that here the coefficients are homogeneous and of same degree, yeah, degree 2. Yeah. So using the approach that we just learned, I'm going to introduce a new variable v here, right? And how am I going to define? V is defined like this. Y is equal to v of x. Yeah, that's how I'm going to define v. So then I need to write down, replace the derivatives of y with the derivatives of v, right? So that will mean that, let's use this, yeah, dy by dx is v plus x dv by dx, right? Okay, so let's plug this in the given differential equation. What we will get is So y is replaced by vx. That gives me v square x square minus x square. The derivative of y with respect to x is replaced by v plus x dv by dx plus 2x square v equals 0. Correct? Right? Okay. And now I am going to say that if x is not 0, then I get this differential equation, right? V square minus 1 multiplied by v plus x v square minus 1 dv by dx plus 2v equals 0. All right? Yeah, is this okay with everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay, all right. Now there's some sort of cleaning up here. What is important to be noted here is that now we have a separable ordinary differential equation. We have dv and the coefficients are the functions of v alone, and then dx and the coefficient is a function of the variable x alone, right? We know how to solve such differential equations, so we are going to integrate. So if we integrate, what do we get? So integrating gives us a logarithm of absolute value of x plus the integral of this term here is equal to 0, right? And I use partial fractions to integrate. You may, sort of do whatever you like. Okay, so what do we get? So this gives us logarithm of absolute value of x plus logarithm of v square plus 1 minus logarithm of absolute value of v equals the some constant of integration, which I am denoting by c, right? So which means that x v square plus 1 is going to be c times v. And remember that v was written in terms of the variable y and x, which means that this is an solution. This is an implicit solution to the given ODE, right? Is that okay? So far, so good with everybody?
Ma'am, how did we remove the mod while converting it from ln to the normal term?
Well, you're right, but let's see. How did I do that?
It is positive always.
Sorry?
V square plus 1 is positive always. So
Correct.
we,
V square
Yeah,
plus 1 is
v square
positive.
plus
Yeah, go ahead.
v square plus 1 is fine, but
No, I think so. Since v square plus 1 is positive, the whole mod can be written as c, and c can be positive or negative both. So instead of writing plus minus c, just writing c covers each and every case, because c can be any number. So there is no need to write a mod in that.
Correct. So maybe ideally it should be c and c prime here. So I'm replacing the constant. Meaning it's not the same constant that appears here, but yeah. But one has to be a bit careful, as you rightly pointed out. Is that okay?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for bringing my attention to this point. Okay. All right. So where were we? So I'm just sort of rewriting it in this form. So what is this? X square plus y minus c by 2 whole square equal to c square by 4. What do they look like? What are these?
circle. The equation for circle.
These are equations for circle, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And one can do a little bit more, and one can actually write down the direction field in this case. So remember the ODE was given like this, right? So dy by dx is minus of, so if you want to write it as a direction field, I'm going to write it as dy by dx is equal some function of x and y. And what is that function in this particular example? So you will have minus of 2xy in the numerator and y square minus x square in the denominator, right? Which means that if I have to plot the direction field, I will have to associate at each point xy a short line segment with at the point xy with slope given as 2xy x square divided by x square minus y square. Correct? That's by the definition of direction field. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Okay. All right. And, so in fact, so this is a plot for that, sort of one has to sit down carefully and check. But what is that we can easily check is what are the isoclines in this case? The isoclines are obtained by setting fxy equal to constant, right? These are one parameter family of curves by setting fxy equal to constant, which means that, you know, you're setting this quantity 2xy divided by x square minus y square equal to constant, right? So which represents a pair of straight lines in this case passing through the origin. Correct? Yeah, everybody agrees with me?
Ma'am, I couldn't get it.
So all I'm trying to say is
Ma'am, can you
that, yeah,
direction field concept
Yeah.
again here?
yeah, so all I'm trying to say is that I'll just write down here, just, you know, sort of too much to absorb verbally. So I should have been careful. So the direction field is this, right? Is this bit okay with everybody present here? Yes, because, you know, I am going to write this as the given OD as this. And in this particular example, the function f is exactly this. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, is everybody with me up till this point? Yes. And let me just add some pages here. Sorry. And let's just recall and recall, by definition, isoclines are obtained by setting f of xy equal to constant, right? Which means that you're going to set this quantity 2xy, x square minus y square equal to constant. Now, all I'm trying to say is that this equation represents a pair of straight lines passing through the origin, right? This is, you know, something that you can check easily. Cx square minus cy square, right? Is that okay? This represents a pair of straight lines passing through the origin. Is that okay?
Family of straight lines.
That's correct. You know, C is a parameter. Yeah, family of represents. Is that okay? That's all I wanted to say.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, is that okay? All right. Nothing more. Okay. Okay. All right. So is this okay with everybody present here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So shall we move on to the next thing? Everybody with me up till this point?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
great. Great.
Ma'am, hello.
Yes, yes, yes. Tell me.
Ma'am, what's the benefit of drawing isoclines? Like, what can we get from this picture?
See, I'll take this, yeah. So we also talked about in the interaction session, but okay. Now, what is the advantage of, see, one, why do we care about direction fields at all? First
Yes,
thing
yes.
is that it is impossible sometimes to solve differential equations analytically, right? That's the first thing. So what you do is, in such cases, you approximate the solutions graphically or numerically, right? Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So direction fields give you a graphical representation of the solution of a first order OD. Yes. So what you do is you look at dy by dx equal to fxy, right? And in order to plot the direction field at each point xy, you draw a short line segment with slope given by f of xy, the value of the function f evaluated at that point, right? Now, in order to plot this, now, you know, You are not going to do this at every point xy. What you are going to do is you are going to look at, you know, either a finite set of points, or you are going to use a software to plot this. Correct? Right? In
Yes,
either case, isoclines are used to supplement the slope field. Yeah. So, you know, this may be just too much to sort of process verbally. How do you sort of advantage of looking at isoclines is, you know, isoclines are one parameter family of curves obtained by setting fxy equal to constant, right? So isoclines are curves in the xy plane such that fxy equal to constant. Yeah. So which means that at each point xy, you are associating a short line segment with slope constant c. Correct?
yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Is that okay? Yeah. Is it correct? Right. So isoclines sort of help you in plotting the direction field. Right.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Okay,
Right?
ma'am. Now I'm getting the point.
Right,
Yes, ma'am.
right. So that's it. And once you have a direction field, what is that you do? You have a point xy and you have a short line segment, right? At that point. Now, what is that you do? You have to fit a curve with what? You have to fit a curve such that the tangent line to this curve at the point xy is exactly that the short line segment that you have drawn. So
Okay.
that
Yes, ma'am.
curve is actually the solution curve. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Got it
Yes,
completely.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
ma'am.
Okay, all right. So this was a bit of digression. Let's just come back to where were we. Okay. All right. Let's just do a bit of a recap. What is that we did? So we know how to solve separable ordered differential equations, and we also know how to solve equations which can be put in the following form: dy by dx, and on the right you have a function of y by x. What you do is you introduce a new variable here, v, which is y equals to vx, right? And then you are able to reduce such equations to separable ODEs, right? That's what we learned so far. So if we have a separable ODE at hand, then you integrate, and one is usually able to solve depending on, you know, integration is possible or not. Now we saw some examples of homogeneous ODEs which can be converted to separable ODEs by introducing a new variable v. Correct? Okay. Now, what is the next thing that we do? We look at another class of first order ordinary differential equations, which are called as the exact ordinary differential equation. Now, what do we mean by exact equations? So here is a definition. So let's look at a first order